We built tiny cities in the dust along the blanket's fraying edge. Crooked skylines made of twigs and stones, a private fragile pledge. You balance little stems together like impossible, tilting towers laughing every time they tumble, as if failure still has flowers. Up above, the real horizon keeps its perfect distant line, a sharp divide of blue and green, of your shoulder pressed to mine. I trace its cool precision on the surface of your hand, drawing mountains, drawing buildings, drawing streets that never planned. Each fingertip becomes a rooftop where imaginary people meet, finding courage in the open, laying secrets at their feet. You say if life was simple, we would move out here for good, trade our doors and heavy ceilings for this restless breathing wood. No alarms except the morning geese rehearsing overhead. No directions but the pathways our own wandering footsteps tread. I answer that we'd miss the noise, the rush, the crowded trains, but my voice betrays a longing I can't hide inside my veins. Because here your face grows softer like it's melting into air, stripped of fluorescent worry of the hard electric stare. The skyline on my fingertips redraws the borders I once knew, placing every fear behind us and the open sky on you. Made of picnics and of rain, letting laundry dry on bushes, letting music ease the strain. Maybe we won't ever get there, maybe fantasy is fine, but for now this trembling outline is enough to cross the line. When the sun begins descending, slanting gold across your wrist, I let the whole fake city fall and feel its absence like a kiss. Still the after image lingers where my touch had marked your skin, a horizon softly glowing that the darkness can't fully win. One day the path grows strangers, where our footprints used to run, tall weeds closing over every dare we whispered to the sun. The gate hangs loose and rusted, paint flaked off impatient curls, as if time itself were laughing at our small persistent worlds. I stand here at the border where the asphalt thins to dust, feeling like an uninvited guest at a house that lost its trust. The field we used to own with laughter, secret sweat and tears, now belongs to changing weather and the measured weight of years. When the field lets go of us, it does it without spite. It simply grows in other directions, follows its own light. I picture you in traffic with your coffee and your phone, threading through a million faces, calling that confusion home. Do you ever feel the phantom of this open breathing space, tugging lightly at your collar, brushing hair away from your face? quiet question, each step a gentle tease. The trees we carved our hopes on have expanded past our lines, swallowing youthful declarations in their rough and patient spines. I should feel something breaking as I see those words erased, but instead there's only softness, like acceptance taking place. The sky repeats its old trick, endless blue above the scene, but my chest has learned a rhythm that no longer needs to lean. I lie down where we once argued, where we almost came undone, and the earth does not remember which of us it really won. That feels like a kind of mercy, like a blessing made of dirt, that the place we filled with drama no longer carries hurt. When the field lets go completely and forgets our borrowed show, I will still be grateful for the days it chose to hold us slow, for the wind that moves so gently through the chaos in our veins, teaching us that love can loosen without vanishing in pain. We wrote your name in crushed stems where the soil turns dark and deep, a crooked little altar that the insects safely keep. I watched the letters settle as the breeze rearranged their shape, turning vowels into shadows, giving every consonant escape. You smiled like it was nothing, just a passing silly game, but I felt the ground grow careful underneath your borrowed name. In the stillness that came after, even birds forgot to shout, as if the field itself were holding something fragile, breathing out. You have always moved in circles, always pacing restless lines, but here your edges soften like the dust between the pines. I wanted to ask why stillness feels so heavy on your chest, why your hands keep searching pockets even when you're fully dressed. Instead, I watched a beetle climb the stalk that marked your first initial, tiny feet on living paper, every step absurdly simple. The world reduced to this, some letters, dirt, and you, a patch of unimportant space that suddenly felt true. Stillness under your name spread outward like a tide, soaking through my heartbeat, loosening the pride I hide. I thought of all the waiting rooms where silence made us small, of nights alone with glowing screens, pretending that was all. This was something different, wide and shy and strange, a pause not born of absence but of choosing not to change. You lean back on your elbows, letting spine meet humble ground, And for once you didn't fill the pause with any busy sound. I realized loving you might mean learning how to stay, to stop chasing every future and just watch this blade of day. Simply overgrown, somewhere in the steady breathing of this unremarkable land. Stillness under your name kept echoing through my hand. Every time the wind moves through this place, I hear your name again, stretched along the waving grasses like a strangely gentle pain. You are gone back to your buildings, to the humming metal crowd, but your laughter keeps returning here, stubborn, bright and loud. I walk the paths we carved together with our careless stomping feet, finding footprints half erased where rain and sunlight used to meet. In every crushed wild daisy, in each stubborn standing reed, there's a memory of your shoulder and the way you used to lead. I thought distance would be solid like a wall I couldn't cross, but it's only shifting shadows, only hints of what we lost. The sky performs the very same trick it showed us months ago, painting blue against forever while the hours move below. I talk to you in fragments thrown like seeds upon the air, stupid jokes and late confessions I was far too proud to share. The field soaks up my monologue with patient level grace, answering with leaves that shiver, brushing softly at my face. Of you linger in the color of the ground, in the scent of broken clover, in each insect's faithful sound. I used to think that healing meant forgetting what was torn, but maybe it is learning how to hold what can't return. I sit down by our old tree where your initials still look new, carved in bark that keeps on growing, stretching gently past the truth. The lines around them thicken like a body learning scars, like a story still expanding long after it lost its start. With a stranger who won't know this sky, and the thought both stings and frees me as the clouds go rolling by. If someday you remember how this open quiet felt, let the green echoes guide you back to where our softer selves once knelt, where the wind will still be carrying every letter of your name, changing nothing, altering everything, holding love without a claim. Night falls over the open field, like a quiet, tender hand, brushing every blade of clover with a darkness softly planned. Fireflies wake like scattered embers from a fire we never lit, stitching tiny golden pathways where our secret feelings sit. You lie flat and close your eyes, as if listening with your skin to the murmurs in the rootwork and the quiet underground din. I rest my head beside you, counting constellations in your hair, feeling like the sky inverted, all its distance tangled there. The world beyond this darkness feels impossibly far away, just a rumor told by streetlights that forgot how to obey. We speak in little fragments, half of them not even sound, fingertips describing sentences across familiar ground. You tell me how the daylight sometimes feels too sharp to bear, how the crowded rooms and deadlines leave your softer parts stripped bare. Here, where clover curls to sleeping, and the soil holds every tear, you finally let your shoulders drop, you finally let me near. I promise not to wake the field with careless, clumsy need. I will match the patient rhythm of the breathing earth beneath. A shooting star writes briefly what my tongue is scared to try, burning out before I manage to unlearn my practice lie. Still you turn and face me with a look that feels like dawn, like the first faint secret color on the edge of something strong. Where the clover sleeps between us, there is no demand or test, only shared and quiet gravity, only ordinary rest. If tomorrow's brutal morning pulls you back from where you are, remember how your heart beats slowed in tandem with that distant star. Remember how, remember how, remember how, remember how. There's a thin invisible border where the summer starts to fade, where the air forgets its sweetness and the shadows learn to trade. We are stretched along that boundary like two lines that almost meet, Feeling heat retreat from soil, from skin, from everything beneath our feet. Your sweater smells of yesterday, of sweat and sunblock, smoke and rain. All the things we never planned, but somehow gathered in our veins. I can taste the coming autumn in the way you say my name. Softer on the consonants, like you're practicing a change. The field around us shivers when a colder breeze sneaks through, carrying the harsh suggestion that we might be ending too. You pull your knees up closer, as if shielding them from time, as if fabric could protect you from the turning of the rhyme. I tell a stupid story just to keep your smile alive, but the punchline lands too heavy, and I watch your laughter die. In the breath between the seasons, every second feels exposed. Every glance a small decision, every silence on brittle grasses that were greener just last week, counting how many different futures flicker softly in your cheek. You say change is like a harvest, you must cut to keep things new, but you're scared of what gets taken, of the holes left breaking through. I answer that the branches do not die when leaves depart, they just learn a different language, show a different kind of heart. The sky grows faintly paler as the temperature declines, and our fingers link together in reluctant, crooked lines. Somewhere geese rehearse their leaving with a slow, uncertain call. And you breathe a little deeper, as if bracing for the fall. In this fragile in-between where no one tells us what to be, I will hold your shifting weather as it trembles over me. And if you go with autumn drifting past these gentle grounds, know my memory will follow like the last warm breeze around. Two bright kites hang on the horizon like careless thoughts that never land, tugging at invisible strings held by distant laughing hands. We watch them from the hillside where the grass leans toward the sky. You say you used to own one once before you learned to say goodbye. Your voice turns almost brittle as the memories pull tight, winding back through muddy playgrounds and the shrinking of the light. The field between us and those colors feels wider than it seems, a border made of grown-up fears and half-forgotten dreams. I offer you my jacket, but you only take the sleeve, like you're scared of any comfort that might dare you not to leave. Above us clouds assemble like a quiet, slow parade, and somewhere in your gaze I see the child you never let me raise. You Tell me how you lost that kite to a sudden jealous gust, how you stood there with an empty line and a pocket full of trust. Ever since you say you've kept your hopes a little close, never giving Wind the chance to steal the things you love the most. I listen to your story while the air curls around your head, feeling every guarded sentence like a fence I cannot share. Still the kites keep dipping lower, flirting with the waiting land, like they're curious about surrender, about the softness of the sand. It circles quietly, just afraid to land upon your lawn. You laugh and shake your head, but there is something loosening inside, a knot beginning to unravel where your private losses hide. When a stronger breeze comes calling and those paper wings grow small, you slide your fingers into mine like a truce against the fall. We stand there without speaking while the sky raises bright, two silhouettes on gentle ground, watching far off kites take flight. There is a kind of quiet that does not ask for any sound. It just settles on your shoulders like warm dust, like pollen, like a crown. You sit across from me, knees almost touching, eyes half closed as if you're listening to something under everything we've ever supposed. The air tastes of wildflowers and of promises we never spoke, of all the mornings we could have had if nothing fragile ever broke. I wanna fill this stillness with clever lines and shining schemes, but the light on your eyelashes is louder than all my hungry dreams. Your breath falls into rhythm with a curtain of distant trees, with a dog that barks and changes its mind, with a drowsy hum of bees. I realize I've chased my life like a train that wouldn't stop, and somehow this small golden moment feels like finally reaching the last rooftop. You touch the ground beside you as if blessing every leaf and stone, as if telling them they matter even more than glass and chrome. My heart slows down to meet you where the shadows blur and bend in the soft negotiation between a stranger and a friend. Sunlit silence writes its language in the dust upon your shoes, in the pale mark on your wrist where some old bracelet left a bruise. We do not need to label this or drag it toward a name. It can stay a secret country that we visit without claim. When a cloud moves through the sunlight and the field forgets to shine, you lean closer without thinking, and your shoulder brushes mine. It feels like finding water after running far too long, like understanding quiet does not mean the absence of a song. If later all this brightness fades behind our busy city doors, I will carry this soft hush inside my chest like hidden floors, walking slowly through its corridors whenever noise begins to climb, hearing sunlit silence answer with its patient, endless time. We fell backwards into the afternoon, careless as the seeds on the breeze, letting every little rule we learned at home slip quietly between our knees. Your jacket became a pillow, my arm a crooked line of trust, while the sky kept changing colors and our bikes gathered yellow dust. You traced stories on my t-shirt with a clumsy fingertip, spelling out the things you never say before they fracture on your lip. The world shrank to insects humming and a crow far off in flight, to the warmth of almost summer, to the hush before the night. It was a game we both could win, but your eyes kept giving secrets to the freckles on your skin. I watched a single blade of grass bending back after your hand passed by, thought about the way you always break and somehow still refuse to cry. There was dirt under your nails and I loved you for that mess, for the proof that you would touch the earth and not just try to impress. Every stain upon our denim felt like proof that we were real, evidence that we had laid our bodies down on something time could never steal. When the distant road kept calling with the trucks and metal screams, we pretended not to hear it. We stayed buried in our dreams. You said if anyone could find us, they would see a crime of rest. Two conspirators of idleness, green confessions on our chests. From your face, watched it spill across your shoulder as the wind rewrote its pace. If tomorrow scrubs us clean again and hides these moments in our seams, I will still taste grassy sunlight in the fabric of my dreams. I will still see you collapsing, letting go of all your scenes, while the earth kept quiet tally, drawing maps on our jeans. the grass, and I move slower by your side, counting the breaths between our words like clouds drifting across a patient sky. Nothing urgent left to hide. We trade our city-colored worries for this faded blanket, frayed and thin. Lay them down beside the dandelions, let them scatter, let the quiet finally win. Your laughter sounds almost afraid of echoing too loud in all this space, so you swallow half your sentences, but I still feel every trace. My fingers comb through Clover, through the cool, forgiving ground, while your stories spill in circles, soft and low, barely their sound. I tell you I could live here in the distance in your eyes, where the future doesn't hurry and the past slowly unties. You say the world will call us back, ringing with electric hands, but for now the only rhythm is your pulse against my plans. The sun leans down and stretches all our shadows into one long line, reaching past the fields, loose border, past your shoulder into mine. There's a promise in the stillness that we're almost scared to keep, like if we breathe a little deeper, it might wake up from its sleep. So we stay just how we are, anchored lightly, barely grown, two strangers to the noise we left behind, suddenly almost known. When the wind turns toward the evening and the colors start to part, I feel every hidden tremor in your slow, reluctant heart. If tomorrow builds its towers where this gentle silence stands, remember how the daylight felt dissolving in our hands. Remember how the air grew tender when we stepped outside the race, how the sky moved in around us, how the earth made room for space, how your name became a whisper. I could finally